Stretch, stretch. You can put it on the board. Yes.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal. Today's show is brought to you by Place Your Bet. If you like to bet on sports games, the NFL, the NBA, a little Major League Baseball, how about college football? And you're looking for a real bettor's edge on the casino sportsbook, call Place Your Bet right now. 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935, and subscribe. Place Your Bet uses money movement to determine its picks, just like the casino odds makers. In fact, they're the guys the casino don't want you to know about. Call Place Your Bet right now. 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935. Call them right now and subscribe, or visit them at placeyourbet.vegas. Get winners and cash tickets today with Place Your Bet. And tell them the circus sent you. And a big welcome to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, as well as Spotify and iHeartRadio. Hey, listen, Mike, did you hear anything about the warm locker rooms down in Texas by chance?
No,
I hadn't. Think about that.
I heard nothing about it, man. What happened?
Oh, dude, are you ready for this? This is dumb. It's dumb, but then again, this is something that happens. And listen, Ed Ogeron says the LSU locker room had no air conditioning at Texas, and of course, the Longhorns athletic director says otherwise. Oh, come on, man. This is the same crap that they pulled the week before. Holy cow is right. This is the same crap they pulled the week before, and that was, well, let's face it, against a lesser opponent. Now, what would college football be without a little bit of controversy, right? Got to have some of that. After LSU's impressive win over Texas in Austin on Saturday night, there were some rumblings going around on the internet that there was no air conditioning in the visiting locker room at Darrell K. Royal Stadium for the Tigers. Oh, man, give me a break. You can't do that. That's ridiculous.
Man, there's nothing wrong with that. That's
wrong. It's fundamentally wrong.
Oh, well, it's wrong, but we always hear stories about this. Remember the NBA Finals when LeBron was cramping up in the fourth quarter against the Spurs because I guess the AC went out in San Antonio. You know,
right?
That's hilarious. But the atmosphere that night was amazing. That's for sure the game of the year.
Oh, exactly. Now, when asked about it just yesterday, LSU head coach Ed Ogeron told reporters that it was true. Ogeron said that LSU was prepared and brought a fleet of fans that would not their own fans, of course. I mean, not the crowd, but they brought their own giant airplane hangar fans just so they wouldn't be left out in the warm, right? Like
that is
from
nuts, man.
What happened with LSU, or I should say Louisiana Tech, in week 1. I mean, come on, man. Are you kidding me? Does it have to be like that?
I mean, like I said, it happens. It doesn't have to be like that,
ridiculous.
though. It is ridiculous. But, man,
I think
that was a great game, man. Well,
look, the fact is teams will do anything to do – or basically to get one over in on their opponents. You know what I'm saying? They'll do whatever they have to that is legal. Now, I guess is this a question of gamesmanship? Is that what we're really talking about here?
I guess, but I mean, I'm a competitor. If we're competing, I'm definitely looking for every edge I got on you. If I find out you got a bad left knee, you know, I'm taking you left. You know, if we're playing video games, you're getting the bad controller. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so that's you. You're that guy.
Hey, man,
right,
I'm a winner. I got to win.
Well, they say winners will do what? Anything they can to win, right?
There you go.
But remember, cheaters never win and winners never cheat. Just remember that, mister. But then other people say, well, hey, by the way, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So I don't even know what to think anymore. I was never really told that in the first place. And frankly, I think it's a bunch of BS. Look, if you've got to be underhanded, if you have to cheat, if you have to do something like that, that's not morally and ethically correct. Look, if you're not doing that, then you should be trying to win fair and square. And you don't have to rip somebody off to be profitable. You don't have to play music tracks in the background when you're supposed to be playing things live. There are certain things that are supposed to happen, like the old Milli Vanilli thing, right? But the idea is, look, I don't care whether you're in sports or music or you're playing tiddlywinks or hopscotch. It's all the same crap. Look, win with integrity, be a great winner. It's okay to be a little bit of a sore winner, but don't be a jerk about it. You don't have to show the entire world up and do end zone dances and bowl your friends into your competitors or some crap like that. Whatever they do in the end zone these days, I don't even know. But I guess my point is, look, there is gamesmanship. There's a cheating aspect to it that I don't like. I don't really do well with that. I mean, is it fair to take allegedly unfair liberties against your opponent?
Yeah, why not, man?
Oh,
why not?
Oh, come on, man. Seriously? All right, so you say whatever it takes to win, right?
Whatever it takes, man. If I find any kind of leverage on you,
ridiculous.
if I know, if I know who your girlfriend is on Instagram and I'm playing you on Sunday, I'm gonna get her DMs because she's gonna tell you, hey, so and so from the other team is talking to me.
You're gonna
I'm
go
gonna get
after
in his head.
You're going after your opponent's girlfriend, their wife,
It
their
don't
family.
matter. I'm feisty, man. I'm looking
Really?
for every edge.
Right, that's kind of like the mob. I mean, they'll go after your whole family too. So that's how you do it.
No, that's how you
That's
Italians
how you
do
roll.
it. I don't know
Hey,
about us.
Listen, don't bring up the Italians in this. I don't even want to go there. Look, my family's from Sicily. We do what we do. Don't worry about it. But what I'm trying to
Don't worry
say,
about it.
don't worry about it. Right? But hey, tell you what, go down to Little Italy, Chicago's Little Italy after
yes.
work. And listen, go see my buddy Bones over at Al's Italian Beef on Taylor Street.
Ooh, I might
That's
have
good
to.
stuff.
I might
Yeah.
have to.
And tell him the circus sent you. Now he's a good friend of the show. Now he's a great guy. His name's Chris. But anyway, that's the best Italian beef sandwich in the city. But I guess, look, if you have to cheat, is it really, should it be allowed? I guess it is allowed because there are no rules. I don't see the NCAA saying you've got to bring air conditioning into your competitor's locker room. I don't see anything about that.
Right.
Right?
It's almost a given that you're going to a facility that's well taken care of. It's something you
Yeah.
should not have to worry about.
You should have good facilities, whether it's for baseball, basketball, softball, badminton, curling. Is there a curling team on any of these schools? I don't know.
Ooh.
But you should have good facilities no matter what.
Right. I agree.
I can't imagine.
Especially a D1 level school, in that sport, right?
This is Division One. This is not Division III, where some of the resources could be a little bit sparse. We don't know. But look, I mean, it's a little bit funny just to think about it, but I love the fact that Ed Ogeron comes in there, kicks their ass, and says, guess what? We brought our own fans and air conditioning devices. So a big round of applause
Man,
for
Joe
those guys.
Bureau was on fire that day. I mean, Texas could not get off the field on third downs. And I love me some Sam Ellinger, but, man, he just couldn't get it done.
Right. I love the fact that LSU went in there, kicked some ass, and then left with their fans
You see McConaughey?
and their fans.
McConaughey was all sad, man. You see him?
Hey, man, listen, I don't care about Matthew McConaughey. He means nothing to the circus unless he's a guest. Then, of course, we'll give him the royal treatment. But until then, we'll give him a 3-ring punch in the nose. And, folks, we're going to be back in just a few minutes on the Sports Circus. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere. We have a very special guest. You're going to like this one. Stick around, folks. Back in a minute.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
And that's another thing. Those Dodger fans, Sal, I mean, sitting on their hands, they were not ferocious like the Boston faithful over there.
What does that
That's
have to
the
do with
reason-
anything?
That's the reason you have 2-out rallies, because
No.
you have fans that are behind them,
No.
and the Dodger fans are weak.
No, a 2-out rally is predicated on what those hitters are doing at the plate. When you look at what the Boston Red Sox hitters were doing, they were shortening up the stroke, they were getting up on the bat, they were rotating the knuckles, they were doing all the right things to get around on everything and protect the plate. The Dodgers were still swinging for the fences even with 2-strike counts. They were not willing to hit the ball the other way for the most part. Even when the shift was on, hell, they could have laid down a little 99 hopper to third base if they're a left-handed stick. But they weren't doing it. The hitting mechanics and the hitting coaches are just simply better over in Boston, and they prepared their hitters to do the right thing. That's what made the difference with that 2-out hitting. They shortened everything up, and they made contact. They put the ball in play. My favorite one had to do with the Green Bay Packers. And I love the fact that they dealt off Ty Montgomery because of a blown assignment. Green Bay isn't Green Bay unless they have a good running game. Then they can win 10 Super Bowls. The fact is, you don't have a running game. You've got 70% passing, and that's not where Aaron Rodgers needs to be. He needs to be in a position where he's got a running game to offset the passing game and so forth. I like the move. Green Bay didn't have a running game anyway, so all they're doing is saying, we're going to get rid of you because you don't follow instructions.
Well, he made one of the most boneheaded plays I've ever seen. There's 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. The coach tells him, take a knee in the end zone because we have one timeout, plus we'll have the 2-minute warning. And for some reason, he runs it out of the end zone. He runs it 20 yards in. Yeah, donkey. Yeah, whatever that was.
That's the guy.
Yeah, that's a donkey or something from Godfather 3. Yeah.
And he needed to be canned for that very reason, and so they dealt him off to the Baltimore Ravens. And now he'll get some playing time over there, which is good, but good news for Green Bay is they cut bait immediately. They said, you can't follow instructions, you can't be here.
I'm shocked they didn't cut him on Monday. They traded him on Tuesday.
They should have cut him on Sunday night.
He shouldn't have been on the plane back to Green Bay.
Right, they should have made him walk back to Green Bay.
No, it was a terrible play. Now, he's not a stupid guy. He went to Stanford. He's not a dumb guy.
He's not a dumb guy, but he doesn't follow instructions.
He made a terrible play. And even if he got tackled and didn't fumble, it's a bad play.
The fact is he didn't follow instructions. And you say he's not a dumb guy. Therefore, his own agenda he put ahead of his team.
I agree.
Thus, he is a dumb guy. Right or wrong?
Wrong. He just got selfish. You're not going to convince me that a guy from Stanford's a dum-dum.
No!
But I also like it that Green Bay made another trade.
Yeah, this is Sidney Justin from the Miracles.
So you heard yesterday's show at Roy Firestone. Didn't you hear a little clip about him going into the office where Smokey was at? That was really good material, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really funny, man.
Yeah, and then you heard him.
I thought it was hilarious. It was cool, though. It was cool. Really cool story, man. I enjoyed listening to that.
Right, and then he gave a couple of bars. Can you give us a couple of more from Ooh Baby Baby, and let's see if you could do it better than Roy Firestone? Come on, man!
All right, you know what? Why not? I did you wrong. My heart went out to play, but in the game I lost you. What a price to pay. Hey, I'm crying. Ooh, baby, baby. How's that, man?
That's
Is that okay? Is that good enough?
That's incredible. That's fantastic.
You know why? Because that's what you do. You're in the incredible business, Sid. That's awesome. Yes! Only on the Sports Circus. You're going to get sports. You get music. We're really entertaining.
Hey there, it's Nick Mackay. You may know me as the voice of Salem Saberhagen, the talking cat from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You're listening to the Sports Circus. It's
I'm on a calliope. Get me out of here. I'm scared.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal. This segment is brought to you by Kelly Vegas, helping people just like you create and host your very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk show. Kelly Vegas can help you with everything you need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic, probably like you're doing right now, and host your very own talk show in your very own studio. Call Kelly Vegas at 949-445-1119. That's 949-445-1119. Again, 949-445-1119, or visit them at kellyvegas.com. That's CALI Vegas.com. And tell them the circus sent you. And a big welcome to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from Honolulu to New York to a bunch of points in between. And folks, we are joined by a very, very special guest. In fact, I'm going to let him introduce himself. Who do we got?
Oh, you mean I need to remember my own name?
That's the guy.
You didn't say that was part of the deal. Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Schulman, and I will be speaking probably with a little less energy than our glorious host, although I am known for being very energetic. So that puts you in a category of your own, my brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And folks, in case you're wondering, hearing a little bit of music in the background, and that would be of whom would that be, Mark?
I'm not hearing any music in the background. I'm hearing like applause. But I am currently the drummer for the greatest female artist on the planet. Who might that be?
That would be Pink, young man. Yes.
Oh, yeah, good answer.
That would be Pink. So, Mark, you are the drummer for Pink, and you've been a drummer for, wow, some of the biggest names in entertainment on top of it. Haven't you played for, I think I read this somewhere, you played for 1 billion people?
Yeah, I estimate in my life I've played for well over 1 billion by this point. I've been touring for 31 years, and I've played with everybody from Pink to Cher to Velvet Revolver to to Stevie Nicks to Sheryl Crow, to Simple Minds, to dating back all the way back to Richard Marx, and I've recorded a gazillion recordings, and
that's a lot of recordings.
Even made with smooth jazz artists like Dave Koz, and I've just played with a lot of people in my life. I'm so grateful, so fortunate that I've had the honor of being able to join literally some of the most talented people in the world on stage. Oh, and of course, do not forget Foreigner. I've played with Foreigner on and off for 26 years. It's been a while now, but love those guys.
Foreigner, a childhood favorite of mine, and still one of those really loved bands by me. And listen, folks, if you haven't heard any of this music, you've been literally living under a rock for the last, 50 years. Something to that effect. It's probably a little bit more than that. So, Mark, as the drummer for Pink, let's just go to Pink right away. Oh, and folks, by the way, if you want to call in, 844-305-7800, 844-305-7800, maybe you can get in and ask Mark a question. So, as the drummer for Pink, you've done world tour after world tour, and why are we talking about this on a sports show is because what do people do when the ball is blown dead, when the puck goes out of play, or when there's a timeout or whatever? What happens? People dance because why? They hear music. Isn't that right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Pink's music is played quite a bit. Yes.
Pink is literally she is the most successful female artist on the planet at the moment. She broke sales and attendance records. We played a sold-out stadium tour in Europe this summer. And in the month of July, she outgrossed any artist in history. We're talking about she outgrows McCartney, the Stones,
Wow.
Springsteen. That's because people adore her because she's adorable.
And she's
an
got a
amazing
great
lady.
story, too.
She's got a great story, and she's got something to say, and she's an incredible role model. But if you say this in front of her face, she's so humble, and she doesn't like compliments. But she's an incredible lady, and we have an incredible team. We just call it a family on the road. And we were traveling with 225 people, and
Wow.
everybody got on,
that's an
and
entourage.
she's essentially the boss. She's like the CEO. So everybody is under her jurisdiction, under her choice, and she is, communicates openly and has conversations with everybody on the road. She eats in catering with the rest of us. As a matter of fact, I remember one day there was a big line in catering, and her manager said, "Well, let's go to the front." She said, "I'm not going to the front. I'm going to stand in line like everybody else." That is who she is.
That's great.
And,
That's
a
great.
consummate leader takes care of their people. Simon Sinek, one of my favorite speakers and authors, wrote a book called The Leaders Eat Lunch Last. And
love that.
that's like the way she is. She's always making sure that everybody else is taken care of. She's
love
truly
that.
an extraordinary gal. And everyone on the road loves her. I can't think of any other artist. Well, there might be a few that I haven't played with, but it's hard to think of any other artist that I've worked with that is so incredibly loved and so comfortable around the boss.
Wow. And a big welcome to everybody listening in again on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. We're here with Mark Schulman, a drummer for Pink. He is Pink's drummer, but he's also played for 1 billion people. That's crazy. Hey, listen, Mark, we've got a call coming in from Chicago. Caller, identify yourself.
Hey, is this a Sports Circus?
This is the Sports Circus.
Oh, hey, it's Sal. Oh, I wanted to reach out and talk to Mark, but I wanted to see if he could guess who I am. I'm going to ask him a couple questions.
Okay. I love the voice. I love the voice.
Who I
I'm not
am.
identifying.
Yeah. Well, my grandfather was one of the most beloved comedians in history, and he was also a percussionist, but he played the spoons. And I'm wondering if you know who maybe my grandfather is.
He was a beloved comedian and a great percussionist. I'm not sure.
And he had
Help cue me in.
Well, he had two. Well, actually, he had 4 brothers, but he had 2 famous brothers, and he kind of sounded like this too, with a very high-pitched voice. And you probably watched him as a kid.
I probably did.
I'm just gonna
but my
beat right
brain
to it.
is. Just get right to
Well,
it.
that's from all the loud music, and I can appreciate that. I'm the youngest grandson of Curly Howard of the Three Stooges.
Wow. See, I didn't know Curly was a percussionist.
Well, he played the spoons.
Well, they should
Now
let him play more.
Now, that's exciting. Now,
I know.
I've seen people play those spoons, and that's one of my favorite things to hear, to watch those people. It's the street performers, and I'm thinking, wow, boy, they get some real rhythm out of those spoons, man. I love that. So here it's Curly, it's grandson, it's Curly
And
G that we've got here.
What is your name? What is your name?
Well, my name is Brad Server, and I go by AKA Curly G, which is short for Curly's grandson. And it's a pleasure to meet you and call in.
Pleasure to meet you too, brother. And thank you for that little bit of trivia, because I was a big Three Stooges fan when I was a kid. You're right. Everybody watched the Three Stooges.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. Well, I want to say too. I mean, I've heard your name many times, and I've followed the bands that you've played with. A lot of Foreigner. But I went to your website and I was ultraly impressed with. You're so much more than that. You have so much that you give back in teaching, and I just want to say it's an honor to speak with you. You seem like a great guy, and I'm looking forward to talking with you a little bit and hopefully meeting you.
That sounds great, brother, and I'm honored that you have taken the time out and actually done some research. I mean, I think that one of the things that links me to this lovely and very high-energy sports show is that I am actually a corporate speaker, and I speak to corporations on top performance using music as a metaphor. And there are incredible athlete speakers as well, and top performance applies to music as much as it applies to sports, and the discipline applies to music as much as it applies to sports. And the concepts of success are universal. And top performance is top performance. And, Pink is like the Michael Jordan of her field, so to speak, And that's where I think that we could draw the parallel. Because there's no accident to success, and it really has to do with, starting with Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 Hours and building from there.
Yeah.
Right, so hey, listen, guys,
really,
we've got about 30 seconds left, and I wanted to thank Curly G for calling in and being a quick part of the show. And any last comments here in our last 15 seconds there, Curly G?
Well, I just wanted to tell him I'd love to talk to him more. Actually, I was roommates with Steve Adler before he joined Guns N' Roses, and his story and his drive of wanting to be a drummer. Steve? Yeah, he's the best. I mean,
yeah,
he's
lovely.
soul.
Well, you know what? Brother, you could reach me through info@markschulman.com. As long as you could spell my last name, which I'm sure you can, then that will get to me, my team. And I promise you that we will stay in touch and we can continue the communication.
All right, guys, back here in a minute with Mark Schulman, Pink's drummer, and everybody else. Back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
My favorite one had to do with the Green Bay Packers. And I love the fact that they dealt off Ty Montgomery because of a blown assignment. Green Bay isn't Green Bay unless they have a good running game. Then they can win 10 Super Bowls. The fact is, you don't have a running game. You've got 70% passing, and that's not where Aaron Rodgers needs to be. He needs to be in a position where he's got a running game to offset the passing game and so forth. I like the move. Green Bay didn't have a running game anyway, so all they're doing is saying, we're going to get rid of you because you don't follow instructions.
Well, he made one of the most boneheaded plays I've ever seen. There's 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. They traded him on Tuesday.
They should have cut him on Sunday
He
night.
shouldn't have been on the plane back to Green Bay.
Right, they should have made him walk back to Green Bay.
No, it was a terrible play. Now, he's not a stupid guy. He went to Stanford. He's not a dumb guy.
He's not a dumb guy, but he doesn't follow instructions.
He made a terrible play.
The fact is he didn't follow instructions. And you say he's not a dumb guy. His own agenda he put ahead of his team.
I agree.
Thus, he is a dumb guy. Right or wrong?
Wrong. He just got selfish. You're not going to convince me that a guy from Stanford's a dum-dum.
No!
Yeah, this is Sidney Justin from The Miracles.
So you heard yesterday's show at Roy Firestone. Did you hear a little clip about him going into the office where Smokey was at? That was really good material, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really funny, man.
Yeah, and then you heard him.
I thought it was hilarious. It was cool, though. It was cool. Really cool story, man. I enjoyed listening to that.
Right, and then he gave a couple of bars. Can you give us a couple of more from Ooh Baby Baby, and let's see if you could do it better than Roy Firestone? Come on, man!
All right, you know what? Why not? I did you wrong. My heart went out to play, but in the game I lost you. What a price to pay. Hey, I'm crying. Ooh, baby, baby. How's that, man?
That's
Is that okay?
incredible,
Is that good enough?
That's incredible. Fantastic. You know why? Because that's what you do.
Hi, this is Tom Dreesen, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with my pal, Sal. And no one does it better.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal. This segment is brought to you by Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind for less than $1 a day. Legal Shield can help with traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning, even contracts given to you that you don't understand, plus a whole lot more. Call Legal Shield right now at 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305 for legal help for less than $1 a day. You can also visit them online at nocourt.us. That's nocourt.us, and tell them the circus sent you. And a big welcome back to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. And we are here with Mark Schulman, drummer for Pink, played for 1 billion people. And guess what, folks? He is also an author, also a keynote speaker. This guy has done it all, written a couple of really good books, and spoken for, hundreds of companies on hundreds of occasions. Big companies. I'm not talking the little guys. We're talking the Fortune 50, Fortune 25 companies, big universities. Mark, welcome back to the show.
Wow, can I take you everywhere?
Absolutely. Take me on tour.
Yeah, you could be my I'll pay you just to introduce me. That was wonderful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take that. All right, great. All right, so look, you've been featured in OC Weekly, Fortune, Huffington Post. All right, out of all of those features and the books you've written and the speaking engagements, I want to hear the most unusual event or the most unusual setting that you've actually spoken. It could be impromptu. Just kind of sum it up in a quick minute, and let's see where we go from there.
Well, I spoke at the, I don't even know what the conference was called. It was Large Machinery Conference in Vegas, and they had to hold it outside in the parking lot because we're talking excavators and like mammoth machines. So I spoke for it started with my all-star rock band. I have an all-star rock band called Rockers Collective, which people like me, they play with different artists. And
right.
The tagline is, what the rock stars do on their days off. So we ended up playing for LBX, amazing company, and it's an excavator company. They make excavators, and they were like demonstrating the excavator, and then they moved it back. And then they covered up this rubber mulch area, and that became our stage. So we played with the excavator behind us, and all these people, like, sort of obscurely placed in very, just sort of listening in wherever they could. And that is that's one of the most odd places I played. I was just reminded, we were just in Paris with Pink, and my wife, Lisa, my daughter's is 9. My daughter's 9. I just read about Paris, always wanted to go. She's been on 270 flights, but she's never been to Paris. So we go to the Eiffel Tower. And I was reminded that in 1995, I played with Simple Minds. And for Canal Plus, which is the big French television conglomerate over there, right, they had us do a video on the second tier of the Eiffel Tower at night in the rain.
Great. In the rain.
Was so extraordinary. Yeah, it was just the most extraordinary experience because it was like surreal. And you can actually find it on YouTube. I actually showed my family after that. It's on YouTube. It's kind of washed out a little bit, but it was a truly extraordinary experience. And I also had the chance to play for 250,000 people at the Glastonbury Festival in England with Simple Minds. and Page and Plant played before us. I was joking with my friends, like, yeah, Led Zeppelin opened up for us, you know what I'm saying? And like backstage waiting in line for the porta potty, because we're talking, this is rustic out there. It's like Woodstock,
Right.
Like Peter Gabriel and Robert Smith from the Cher were all standing in line just waiting to, use the porta potty, just hanging out.
Hey, we all got to go. You got to go. You got to go.
When you got to go. So those are some truly extraordinary experiences I've had. I mean,
wow.
Every experience with Pink has been extraordinary. We just did this stadium tour, and we did 2 sold-out stadium shows at Wembley Stadium. We had played Wembley Arena, but I'd never played the stadium, and that was a bucket list. And those were also the shows that we recorded, because they're actually, doing a documentary. So they recorded the whole show, and
Can't they hold 100,000 there?
It can actually hold more than that. I think we had 80,000 per night, but the stage setup is so big that we took up about 25% of the seating.
Uh-huh.
So that was definitely a bucket list and a dream. And also the first night. Okay, so we're filming, right? So everybody wants to look their best. The first night was one of the hottest nights on record in London. It was like, I don't know, like nearly 90 degrees and humid, and everybody's just sweating, and we're just like drenched, and we're sitting here thinking, oh my God, this is the night that they're filming. And we also just weren't used to the heat, because we've been doing these stadiums, but it's been actually relatively cold. So all of a sudden it was like blazingly hot, and the dancers and Pink in their uniforms and just not used to the heat. And I'm one of the lucky ones, because as a drummer, I get a couple of fans on stage. So I have all this, I just turn the fans up, and my tech Gary just, cranks up the fans. And so I always have air, but imagine, you're a performer in like 90 to 100 degree heat with lights and no air blowing. It's just standing still, and all these just raging, screaming fans that are just giving this enormous energy. And you just go and go and go, and you forget. And at the end, everybody just like collapses, because you're so high on the fans and so high on the energy. And everybody in the show, I mean, down to like the third carpenter, is so committed and is the best of the best that, nobody rests. And everybody's just so in it and on the top of their game.
And so, folks, we're here with Mark Schulman.
To be a part
we're here with Mark Schulman, Pink's drummer. And listen, Mark, out of all the accolades you've had, whether it's from speaking. Now, look, you're a real popular speaker, and out of all these speaking and concerts and all the events that you've done, there's a fulfillment factor, I think, that a lot of people in life, it's kind of in front of them, but they don't really see it. And I used to have this conversation with my father. I used to say, Dad, you're a pretty unfulfilled guy, because he bellyached about everything, right? And so I think somewhere in that speaking time, there has to be that fulfillment speech or that fulfillment piece that, look, everybody, listen, I don't care whether you're in Honolulu, New York, Chicago, L.A., doesn't matter where you're at, and you're listening to this show. The fact is, you're watching it on television. The fact is, a lot of you people need to be fulfilled. What does that mean to you in 30 seconds?
I'll very quickly tell you the topic of my next book, A times B equals C, co-writing it with a brilliant thinker and dear friend, Dr. Jim Samuels, Attitude, Behavior, Consequence, which means we cannot control what happens to us, but we always have the power to change, control, or shift our attitudes about what happens to us. And your attitude is your point of view. It's where you're looking from. Where you're looking from determines what you see. So it gives you enormous power to understand you always have the ability to shift your attitude no matter what. But it gets better, because your attitude is what actually drives your behavior. And one attitude can drive many behaviors, and your behavior is what determines the consequences of your life. So everything in your life begins with attitude, and you have that power to shift it. To literally, by shifting your attitude, you are producing completely different results in your life. And that is across the board and applies to anybody and everybody. And that's what I speak about. And I give people examples of attitude shifts and stories. And it's an amazing concept to embrace and to really think about. It's so simple and so applicable to everybody.
It really is. And the fulfillment side of it is, folks, listen, if you aren't doing what you're happy with, go out and find the damn thing that you're good with. Go find something that makes you happy. Just remember, you can write on a sheet of paper on the left side what you like, on the right side what you don't like. It's easy to fill up the things that you like, but the easier way through this exercise is to write everything out there that you don't like, because then whatever's not on that list, guess what? You may like the balance of the things, or anything that's not on there. There's a possibility you may like it as well.
And I'll give you one of my favorite attitude shifts, and it's so simple. Instead of looking at anything that you have to do as something that you have to do, shift it to a get to. Because if you shift it to a get to, instead of it feeling like a chore, it now feels like a choice. Instead of it feeling like the effect of the situation, you now feel like you're the cause of what you want. Right. And it makes the mundane more fun. It makes the intimidating less intimidating and actually exciting. And another thing to remember is the chemistry in our body for fear and excitement are identical. It's freaky. It's just our perception. So we all have the ability to shift fear into excitement. And I always use the roller coaster metaphor as a great example, because we go up that incline and our hearts are hearts beating out of our chest, our hands really sweaty. That's the same exact feelings we get for fear or excitement. By the time we get to the top, we start to go down. It is our natural human response for survival to be afraid. But the moment we hit the bottom, it shifts to excitement, and we remain really excited, and we remain, just full of adrenaline. And when that roller coaster ends, the one.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UppercutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UppercutChops.com.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Hey everybody, it is Mark Schulman, your own personal rock star at your service. I am the drummer for Pink, who is the greatest artist on the planet, and I have played for so many other artists. I'm such a fortunate man. I've had a wonderful career touring with the best of the best, and now I'm doing a lot of corporate speaking to some of the greatest clients on the planet, and I'm an author. And I would love for you to be in touch with me directly. You can always find me through my website, which is markschulman.com, MarkSchulman.com. And my handle on Twitter and Instagram is @MarkyPlanet, MarkyPlanet. And I am a person that loves to be in touch and loves to be of service. So if I can be of service to you, feel free to reach out to me. It might take me a while to get back to you, but I promise you that I will, because I love to be of service. I believe we are all on this planet to be of service to each other, and I believe that everything we do when we are focused on the highest good of all concerned is to be of service. And I want to thank Sal and the circus, and I want to thank all of you all for listening, and basically, y'all rock.
All right. And a big welcome back to everybody on our NBC, CBS, and Fox Sports affiliates, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Thanks for joining us today with Mark Schulman. Played for 1 billion people. Played drums for 1 billion people with some of the biggest names in industry. Mark, I know you have to run, so I'm going to let you go. Thanks for joining us today. And you're certainly welcome back on the circus at any time. And I'm going to carry on about you and your speaking just because I can as soon as you depart us right now.
Okay, my friend. Sal, you rock, brother, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, that sounds great. Folks, that was Mark Schulman from Pink. Big congratulations for all of the success he's had. God knows he's had quite a bit of it. Now, I will say that we have some really good guests on this show, Mike, and I have to tell you, this is one of those guys that if you're having some kind of a personal event, some kind of a big speaking engagement, something, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's sports, whether it's music, whether it's a motivational thing, this is the guy from an energy standpoint. You want him. Look, I'm a high-energy guy, but this is the guy that you want speaking in the crowd.
That's the total vibe I got from him, man. That's awesome. He's an incredible guy. Great guy. Very down to earth, too. Man.
Very easy to talk to guy, and I have to tell you, that, look, for him to be hired by the biggest companies in the world and some of the best universities in the world, I mean, he even speaks for the Grammys, for Christ's sakes. This guy has done it all. But what we want to do is certainly have people like him meet up with other people like him. Because you know what? Like minds, what do? They attract like minds.
That's right. That's right.
Right, and you know why? Because winners win! And we talked about that in the first segment, now didn't we? A little bit about winners winning.
Gotta
and
do what
doing
you can,
whatever.
man. Yeah.
But this guy does it the right way. He's surrounded himself with winners. I mean, look, he's been featured in OC Weekly, Fortune Magazine, 3 times, the Huffington Post on top of it. And whether it's being a keynote for Hacking the Rockstar's Attitude, Book Your Rockstar Quotient, Conquer Life's Stage Fright. I mean, he's really done it all. This is one of those guys that you really want to be around, and hopefully you can have 5 or 6 of those people in your life, because that would give you the ultimate motivation. If for some reason you can't get up and motivate yourself, which I never understood how people could not motivate themselves. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, everybody should have a little fire under their stomach, you know? You should want to get up and do good for yourself.
How do you not wake up? How do you not wake up every day and say, yes, I'm here. I'm going to go out and kick the world's butt today.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's really what this is about, getting up and doing it. And look, athletes, this is a sports show. And what do we talk about? We talk about sports, but we also bring guys like Mark on the show because, remember, Mark not only speaks to sports teams, he speaks in stadiums. He speaks to mad amounts of people. And, oh, by the way, he's one of the best entertainers on the planet on top of it. So guys like him bring the impact. You're like, oh, my God, look what I just had in my face. And now I got to see if I can harness that and carry that away over to my next engagement, whatever that is.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the crazy stuff here. I'm actually in front of a camera. I'm acting like I actually have something in my hands. And I'm tiptoeing him away with it, with this treasure that I just found.
Oh, man. You're probably moving everywhere, all around the place in front of the camera.
But that's okay. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
And look, for everybody at this hour, they're used to hearing what? If you're not listening to the show on a regular basis, you're used to hearing a traffic update, a weather update, a sports update. And listen, I don't do that on this show. I don't want to do that. There are others for that kind of stuff, and so be it. Everybody likes it. You get your traffic on the 8s or some crap like that. So be it. Well, guess what? It's 9 minutes past, and you just missed your traffic update, so you're stuck with me. But the fact is, I mean, look, we need something different in our worlds. You know, driving home, sitting in traffic, what are we listening to? We're listening to the same crap we heard at 9 a.m., 6 a.m., noon, 2 p.m. Not over here, buddy. Not over here. That's the best part about it. So what could make this better? What could make this better, Mike?
I mean, it's already been a great show. I mean,
come on.
What else you got?
we had Curly Howard's grandson
that was
call
awesome.
in. But you know what's cool is now that dude is one hell of a drummer. In fact, he's going to be on the show on Friday. So those people that could watch us on Tiki Live, on Ustream and YouTube and Facebook and this and that, whatever, and on AMP TV. Watch for on a TV near you, folks. AMP TV, it's blowing up. And that's for all ages media programming. All ages media programming. That's AMP TV.
I'm pumped. I can't wait for that. That's going to be a great show.
Blowing up, kid! Blowing up. Whether it's sports or whatever, that's what we're doing. And by the way, because we had so much fun today, we have another musical guest coming on tomorrow. And if the stars align, we're going to have the former lead guitarist from Megadeth and Queensryche on the show tomorrow.
All right. Interesting.
Right.
That's going to be good.
Right. Well, you know, his name is Glenn. And Glenn is he's a very sharp guy. He's a good business guy. This is for all of our business listeners on the news channels. Yeah,
okay,
for all the business listeners on the news channels.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we're on CNBC, we're on NBC News, and so forth, Westwood One News. Look, for all you people that are looking for something newsy, something, a nice little blend, that's why we do this for you. But we do relate it back to sports to some degree.
We always
why?
do. Always.
That's right, because it is a sports circus. And remember, it's a circus, and we prove it every day. But more importantly, we try to mix the bag up and give you something different, something that you haven't heard. Right? And that's typically what we've been doing here for, I don't know, years that the circus has been on. So, Mike, let me ask you a quick question before we head off into the sunset. Do you think the Raiders are happy, the Raider fans are happy with the subtraction of Antonio Brown?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you couldn't hear the fans during the game. They were chanting some words for Mr. Antonio Brown. That's the big elephant in the room, man. They're definitely happy he's gone. They probably wish him well. I don't know if they really do, but that's what everybody was saying. And that victory last night probably felt really good. And, I mean, there's even more news with Antonio Brown breaking right now, but, that's for another day.
Right. Now with Antonio Brown going to New England, and remember, what did I tell you about Gronk? What did I tell you about Rob Gronkowski? I said he was going to wait till there's about 4 games left in the season. Did I not? I said this a couple weeks back.
Yeah, he was tweeting googly eyes today. Does that mean he's coming back?
He said that he wouldn't be available until week 14. As if I got the phone call from Gronk. It's unbelievable.
I'm going to rush to my phone and pick up.
I said this weeks ago.
I'm going to pick him up on my fantasy team real quick. Hold on. Just kidding.
but I said this weeks ago. Did I not?
No, yeah.
Yes or no?
You did call it. You said.
But specifically with a month left in the season.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Hey.
Somebody better buy me a drink. It's ridiculous. Somebody better buy me several drinks because I tell you, man, I'm good at this stuff.
Yeah.
But it was so obvious he's going to come back, and the funny thing is now Demaryius Thomas, he finds himself with the airplanes down in New Jersey, but you can call them the New Jersey Jets, but they really are the New York Jets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now I mean, well, we all thought we were going to see AB on Sunday, but now with this whole new case about the alleged rape TMZ's reporting right now, it's interesting, man. We don't know if this is over with.
But remember, this team can play very well without missing pieces. Didn't they win a few games without Tom Brady a year or so ago?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the game on Sunday night. They don't need Antonio Brown, but hey, if he's on the field, they'll be great.
I know, they don't need him. Anyway, folks, we're out of time here on the Circus. And a big thanks for Mark Schulman, Pink's drummer, for joining us, and also Curly G. Come on. There it is. Three Stooges, grandson of Curly Howard. I'm your Ringmaster Sal. We'll see you next time right here on the Circus. So long, everyone.
What a time.
If we knew you was coming, we'd have baked the cake. What's the matter with you?
Attention businesses of all sizes affected by COVID-19. The federal government has introduced the Employee Retention Credit. It's a new relief program that allows you to collect up to $26,000 per employee. If your business was forced to close due to COVID-19, or you lost 20% or more of your sales, you may qualify for free financial relief. There's no limit to the amount you can file for, and you don't have to pay the money back. Call Park Settlement now. They'll explain to you how much you qualify for and how fast the funds can be in your business bank account. To find out if you qualify for the ERC program, call Park Settlement right now for details. There's no upfront cost to you, and you could receive up to $26,000 per employee. Call right now for details. 800-509-1238. 800-509-1238. 800-509-1238. That's 800-509-1238.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UppercutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UppercutChops.com.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.